Hi guys, welcome to this module on Microsoft Visio. In this module we're going to look at a basic floor plan for your house. Here's an example of a floor plan of a house. In this session we're going to focus on this area, which actually is my garage. I had my garage converted into an office many years ago and I used Visio for the builders as their guide. So we're going to recreate this bit. So I'm going to do Control N to get myself a new diagram, and I'm going to bring on a wall. Now the wall itself in my house is 7.5 meters by 2.5. I'll zoom that in so we can see it. So there's the outside area of my garage and utility. So there are several doors I need to put into position. There's a door into the outside, which I need to flip because it's not in the right place. So that is okay there, and then I need to change that again like that. That's how that door opens. It opens against that wall there. Now I need to bring a door into the kitchen, which again sits there, and I need to flip that door because that opens the other way. That's the correct way. The door opens that way. That's correct. And I have a dividing wall between the utility area and the rest of the garage, which sits like that. 2.5, and in there is a door also, which I need to flip because that is not in the right position. And I need to flip that again because that's the correct position. The door opens like that. Now windows, there are two windows. There's one at the front, which is not 900, it's 1200 centimeters, and the one at the back is just a standard 900 centimeter window, 900 millimeter window. Now that is the outside structure. Now there is another dividing wall in the middle of the garage, which was a mistake when I first did this because I didn't measure it correctly and there isn't enough space for a door. So this gap wasn't wide enough for a door, so I'm left just with a wall and a gap. However, it's still okay. Now that is the outside structure. I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to create a layer. So I'm going to assign to layer, create a new one. I'll call it garage. Okay to that. And then I'm going into layer properties and I'm going to lock it. So now I've created that layer that is set in stone. Now I can add my furniture, and I've already created a stencil with some furniture in it. So I'm just going to open that stencil. It's called household. It's already open on a different diagram, but there you go. So I've populated this with some of the features that I want to use. Basically what you do is you just search for items that you think you might need. So I've typed in there, for example, TV, and then it brings you TVs, and I'll just pull that onto the screen for a minute. There's an old-fashioned TV. If I close the search box down, I can then add this TV to my stencil and call it TV1 because I've already got one TV in here. And then that's part of my stencil. I would save that, and then that would be available if I'm doing any other floor plans. But for now, let's just bring in a fridge. So I have a fridge that sits there. Spin that round so it's facing the right way, and just move it. Yeah, it's not exactly against the wall. There's a gap there for all the wires and stuff. I have a dryer that sits here. I'll spin that round, and then just move it in like that. And then a washer also is under the window. Spin that round so the washer's facing forwards. And move that into position there. So that's the utility area. Now in the actual area that was an office, it was like this. I had a large sofa, 3-seater, against that back wall, like so. And on this wall, on the facing wall, there was a TV, like so. I also had a small table. Now this table at the moment is bigger than the one I had, so mine was 800 by 400 measurements, and then that was facing like so in front of the sofa. And in this area I had a second sofa, a 2-seater sofa, which faced the window like so, and a bigger table which was 600 by 900, like so. Now you can see that I've got this size and position box on the screen, which is quite useful when you're trying to fit furniture into a floor plan. You need to know what the size of the furniture is, the measurements, before you start putting them in here, otherwise they won't fit. It's like trying to get a large sofa through a door. The door's not wide enough. This is an outside door, so it's quite wide. So is that. That's an outside door, that's quite wide, and this one is actually a fire door, and that's quite wide. But internally in my house, the doors are a lot narrower, so a large sofa like that would struggle to get through the door. So you would need to measure the sofa and the doors to see whether you can get them in. But basically, that is how I created the floor plan for my garage conversion, and the builders followed this almost to the T. And the mistake I made was I didn't put a door in there. I left that gap, and the builder did exactly what I said. And afterwards I looked at that and I thought, should have put a door there, or not even had that wall there at all, because this room can become quite dark in winter. The light is in this area, so it doesn't shine through into that area. But that is the end of this module. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for your time.